Welcome back to our day 2 postcast for the Royal Meeting, and we kick off part 2 with the Duke of Cambridge Stakes and a deep field. Paul Binfield from Paddy Power. When Laugh Aloud won the Princess Elizabeth Stakes at Epsom, she was immediately cut to a pretty hot favourite for this race, but it's turned out to be a warmer contest than we might have expected. How do you guys bet?
Yeah, it's quite tight at the top of the market now, Lee. Yeah, 5-2 Laugh Aloud, 11-4 Kemar, 4 Usherette for Little Napoleon Andre Farb, 10 Smart Call, and then 11 Mix and Mingle 12 Bar.
And how do you see the race?
Well, I was impressed with Laugh Aloud, but for me, she's a bit too short now. I'm going to go for Usherette for Andre Farb. He doesn't bring them over for no reason, and the form of her third in the Prix d'Ispahan was franked on Saturday when Duke of Navan won at Chantilly, and I think Usherette goes in there with a great shout.
It does look a deep race, this, David. Laugh Aloud's win at Epsom, visually it was impressive, but how good is the form?
It's open to some debate. I mean, I'm kind of with Paul in that she can't do any more than what she has done, and she did do it very impressively on Derby Day, but I think she's priced accordingly now. And I also agree with Usherette. I'd really like to see Mix and Mingle win for Chris Wall. I think it'd be brilliant, but she does need to prove she stays the extra furlong, and she got one of Ryan Moore's specials at Lingfield last time when he charted his own course and Frankie got stuck on Kemar. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Kemar turn that form around. But I think it's just a great race for Nick Smith as much as anyone with the international depth. You've got South African interest, French interest, but these are horses that have come from Argentina as well. And I mean, Furia Cruzada's been here, there and everywhere. So it's just a good spectacle, but it does make life tricky trying to get a handle on so much contrasting form lines.
Yeah, it does indeed. Tony, 2 at Rocks for Jim Bolger. Would she be good enough to win this?
I don't think so. I mean, she was a pretty smart 2-year-old. She didn't show anything at all last season. Her form this year has been okay. Wouldn't have liked the soft ground last time. Better conditions will suit. I could see her running a good race, maybe finishing the first 4, but to back her to win would take a bit of courage.
Okay, so just summing up then our tips this race, Tony?
Laugh Aloud.
Laugh Aloud for Tony. For Mr. Baxter?
Usherette.
Usherette. And for Mr. Binfield?
Usherette, and this is another one of our money back as a free bet if you're 2nd, 3rd or 4th to the SP favourite, Lee, like the Jersey Stakes.
You deliver these plugs quite beautifully.
I know. You can see why I've got the gig, really, Lee.
Yeah, well, no. And actually, I don't often give tips because I'm not very good at it. But I do think Smart Call, the filly that Smarkle Stout's got from South Africa, she could be interesting. Run an eye-catching race in the Middleton Stakes at York. The Victory Race on day 2, and indeed the most valuable race at the whole of the Royal Meeting, is the Prince of Wales's Stakes. Perhaps this year lacking a standout star, but loads of very good horses who are vying for favouritism. Looking at this, Paul, it could be any one of 3 who goes off market leader. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think probably Jack Hobbs will. That's what we're thinking at the moment. He's 5-2, then 11-4 Highland Reel, 7-2 Ulysses. But yeah, you know, it depends what people come for. If Aidan has a good first day, then maybe Highland Reel could be the one. But then with 7-1 Decorated Knight, 10 Mectol, 14 Bar, but an absolute crackerjack, Lee. Yeah,
an absolute crackerjack. Tony, everyone adores Highland Reel. I adore Highland Reel. His win in the Breeders' Cup Turf was one of the most memorable you'll see at that meeting, given the way Shamey rode him. Another big win last time in the Coronation Cup, but can he be as good over 10 furlongs as he's over 12?
Probably not. I mean, he has run some good races over a mile and a quarter. He won Secretariat Stakes a couple of years ago, and he was a good second in the Juddmonte International to Postponed last year. He does, even over a mile and a half, he does like to make the running. He probably more or less have to do that tomorrow, it's a bit of sort of heart and head for me with him. I think he could win, but I just have a slight leaning towards Jack Hobbs myself tomorrow.
With Johannes Vermeer in the race as well, is it simply going to be a case of he will go like the clappers, Ryan will follow him, and they'll try and make it into a real doer test?
That could happen. I'm not privy to the tactics, but I mean, Johannes Vermeer is a fair horse in his own right. He was a Group 1 winner as a 2-year-old. He had problems and he only got to the track late last year. He's had 2 runs this year, which were okay, I mean, he could well go off in front, but Highland Reel is not going to be far away from the lead, I'd say, all the way, and hopefully he'll battle it out as he usually does, but I just have a lot of respect for Jack Hobbs.
Tony has much respect for Jack Hobbs, David. He was stunning when he won the Irish Derby, and he was very impressive in the Shima Classic when Highland Reel was behind him. But he in the past he has had, if not maybe 2 ways of running, and he doesn't always reach that form. 2 defeats here in the Champion Stakes over that mile and a quarter. Again, would this be his best trip?
Yeah, you can make the argument that he does prefer it over that bit further and just wind up and hit. I mean, you've got 2 real sort of iron horses, for want of a better word. They go everywhere, they take each other on. I'm a bit like Tony with the head and the heart. The head sort of suggests Jack, but I would really like Highland Reel to win again. I was so impressed at Epsom, given the travel delays they had, and to come off the plane, you could see he was warm, you could see he was a bit wound up, but it just didn't stop him. The way he kept finding down the camber there was something I'll remember for a little while. So I'd really like Highland Reel to win, and yeah, I think that's where I'll be heading.
We'd all like Highland Reel to win, but Ulysses, we shouldn't forget him. He was my Derby winner last year, but unfortunately he didn't win the Derby. He did win at Sandown on his reappearance, but that was a Group 3, as was his Gordon Stakes success. He's a pretty short price horse for an animal who hasn't yet really proven himself in Group 1 company, say for his good run at the Breeders' Cup. Paul, would you be with or against Ulysses?
No, I'm very much with Ulysses. I just think Jack Hobbs might be a better horse over a bit further, and possibly Highland Reel as well, whereas Ulysses does look like a 10 furlong horse. Sir Michael keeps these older horses in training for a reason. Normally that they're better than they've already won at, and I was impressed with him in the Gordon Richards at Sandown, and I really like Ulysses. I
thought Queen's Trust could be interesting too at a big price as a Breeders' Cup winner for Stouty. Anyone like Queen's Trust or Mektal, another Group 1 winner, or indeed Decorated Knight, another Group 1 winner? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Forever hold my peace, Lee.
Likewise.
No.
Well, that was good. And that ends part 2 of this Racing Post Postcast.